Welcome back, everyone, to Masculine Rebirth channel. Today, I want to talk about parenting and mindfulness and why mindfulness is really important and really actually helpful with how you show up as a father or a mother. Now, for those who don't know, I've got three children and one on the way, and they'll be 8 and under. So I'm in the trenches still, very much full on at home. I've been practicing mindfulness now for 10 years, so before kids. And I would say it's been a journey, as for the most part, I was being very mindful of certain things and not mindful of other things. And it comes down to just being aware and being okay with being wrong and scrutinizing a lot of where you are unaware or have blind spots. Why this is important is because when you are a parent, you usually are under an extra amount of stress and duress. So often there'll be unconscious patterns playing out, unconscious ways of being, unconscious ways of communicating, just lots of unconsciousness. So why mindfulness is important is when we increase the mindfulness muscle or just being aware, we are able to start to recognize what is actually happening. So when we're in relation to our child or our partner, or husband or wife, we're able to start to see clearly ways in which we need to reorientate or change. Now, when it comes to mindfulness, obviously there's the basic ones of just sitting down and meditating and noticing and noting and being aware of, sensations and feelings and thoughts and meaning making and what's occurring within and without. There's also, walking meditation is just being aware of your surroundings, what your feet, your eye, what your eyes are seeing, what your ears are hearing, and so forth. What you're feeling as well. Now, in relation to parenthood or fatherhood, what I tend to do to help myself is I'm usually trying to be aware of what is my tone tilting at. What am I tilting into? Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? What feelings are present or what are arising? What state am I in? And just being aware of that and then resting into that as it is with exactly what's happening, but not making it the dominating factor. So just being aware and mindful of that, but then being able to operate beyond that or before that, operating from awareness. So when I'm relating to my kids, I'm not letting the feeling, whatever feeling or emotional state, be what is leading, what is the first point of contact, but then also calling it out and naming it. So if I'm feeling in an emotional state that might be frustrated or angry, it's a process of containing this whilst also naming it. So naming it and containing it, naming it. We could go contain, tame, and name it. And this has helped me with my kids and be more authentic with my children. Authentic over calm, I like to say. And when I'm authentically naming it to them, like I'm feeling frustrated, or maybe I'm feeling sad, or maybe I'm feeling exhausted, and just letting them know that that's where I'm at, so that I'm being authentic with my emotional state, so that that doesn't end up coming out sideways or bleeding out in a reactive, confused manner. And often that happens because I can't see something. And this is the whole process of being mindful or being aware, is we are trying to increase our resolution or our view of what is actually happening. We are getting more precise with what is happening. And by practicing this and making a daily reorientation to being aware and being mindful of how we behave, the actions we take, what's motivating our actions, what how our tone is, and our language, and how we are in with our gestures and our posturing to life, all of this plays a factor with being a dad or being a mum. And this takes time. Often we actually have to do or be aware and mindful outside of parenting, and then it bleeds into, I wouldn't say bleed into, but it kind of translates into being a father or a mother. So it's an important, I believe it's a really important practice. At some point, you become unmindfully mindful or unawarely aware. And it's sort of like this, I like to look at the infinity thing. It's sort of just happening. Doesn't mean there's not, further reflection or contemplation or inquiry, but it's happening more naturally, more organically. It's less forced, less effortful. It becomes more effortless. However, in the beginning, often it requires an efforting and a forcing of being aware, being mindful, until that becomes the dominant pattern, because you've lived a life of unawareness and being unmindful for so long. Other things you can do to practice is just being aware and mindful when making your coffee or cooking food, and using specific activities to increase your mindfulness capacity or your awareness, or increase the resolution of how life is, the suchness of life. So I'm going to leave it there because there's probably so much I could say more, but how are you in parenting when it comes to mindfulness and your reactive, confused patterns? Are you able to recognize and see it clearly? Or would you say you become mindful of it, and then the pattern then becomes again? Anyway, love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support you.